That was not a large.
Yeah, hopefully Elon didn't get his ketamine kick as he was walking on stage. We've seen him doze off a little bit, be a little out there in space. Hopefully, we're gonna have a clear conversation today.
Applause. Start again.
Oh my god, this guy, Larry Fink. Larry Fink, everybody.
Hello, peasants.
That's the type of guy we're dealing with.
So, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see everybody here. It's been an amazing week here in Davos. Hopefully, everybody
It's a whole week.
saw that we are having conversations here. Hopefully, everybody
Yeah.
agrees. There are some conversations that we.
Everybody saw, man. You guys live stream it because you want people to I don't know, believe that you guys detain the truth, but that is not the case. So you can just get lost.
We may disagree. There's many conversations that we may have agreed, but through those conversations, and I think today's result with a peace agreement earlier today, the World Economic Forum is here to have those conversations, to have understandings, and also resolution. So it's an important component of who we and what we are, and I'm thrilled to have Elon Musk here. He came all the way from California to be here to see all of you. So thank you, Elon.
You're most welcome. I heard about the formation of the Peace Summit, and I was like, is that PIEC? A little piece of Greenland, a little piece
Yes, that's fine.
of Venezuela.
That was not funny.
We got one.
One laugh.
Okay, I'm going to, as I said, I'm a pretty proud CEO of BlackRock since we went public. The compounding return of BlackRock to our shareholders was 21%. Since Elon took Tesla public, his compounded return is 43%. This is,
You see the pause there? That was supposed to be impressive. That was pause for applause, but
Hello, peasants.
we look at you on stage and nobody's impressed here. Nobody's impressed, and it's people who paid to come see you guys. So how about that? How about that?
just another advertisement for everybody, especially for Europeans. This is why more citizens should be investing with growth, investing with their countries. Imagine if a lot of pension funds invested.
Oh, this again. So I'm pretty sure this must have been like the meeting or the conversation after the one with the Jensen, because this is a point he was trying to make towards the end of the conversation. People should invest their pension fund inside of these AI backed private companies or private equities, private whatever the fuck.
With Elon, when Tesla went public.
This is a bad idea.
How much
Just such a bad idea.
With all the pension funds that invested side by side with Elon and the growth. So
He's trailing off. This is pretty hard, man. It happens to me too whenever I'm too high or you're old.
a spectacular return. There's very few companies. Well, I don't think there's any other company as large as Tesla today that has that compounded return. So congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
a good measurement.
Well, we have an incredible team at Tesla, and that's the reason.
There's a lot of circle jerking.
So,
and you can see this is the print of the half circle jerk, the elite circle jerk. Yeah, that's a lot of complaining. Oh, I got a Mr. Grumpy complaining. No problem.
I want to get into the dirt, the meaningful component about technology,
The
the
dirty ass
possibilities.
shit that it is. Man, so many Freudian slips. Freud. I don't know how you pronounce that in English.
I want to talk about AI and robotics, energy, space, and the progress ultimately coming down to engineering discipline.
People were thinking I was crazy saying that they started saying that they're gonna do shit in space. And listen to him right now. You're gonna invest your pension fund into some random ass space venture to build the data center on the moon. How fucking elementary school type of story, random ass story is that? Guys, you get creative, do get wild with it. If you're gonna run the world to the ground, honestly, just get creative with it. Do do okay, I was gonna say do like a high powered laser beam that shoots beams from space. But I guess they already have it, so I'm just gonna keep it going. Nothing to see here. I don't want to die of suicide with 2 bullets in the back of the head.
Scale, execution, and few people, if not anyone, has the experience and the fortitude to confront these issues head on. Not just the ideas, but the execution across so many different technologies, Elon, and that's why I thought it was important for us to have this dialogue here in Davos. So you're presently building.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the grapefruit technique, but my boy Larry Fink, yeah, glazing Elon to the back of the throat.
On AI, on robotics, on space, on energy, all at the same time. When you look at
All at the same time, plus Diablo 4, plus Path of Exile 2. My man, it looks like me whenever I say I'm doing work, I'm cooking, I'm doing the dishes, I'm doing the laundry. I'm doing none of that shit. Fuck it. Oh, fucking lying mythoman, sack of shit.
across those efforts, what do they have in common from an engineering standpoint?
That he's not involved in any of them. That is the only common point. He's been exposed. It's already been
Well, they're all very
exposed.
difficult technology challenges, but
Your
the
challenged.
overall goal of my companies is to maximize the future of civilization, like basically maximize the probability that civilization has a great future, and to expand consciousness beyond Earth. So if you take SpaceX, for example, that SpaceX is about advancing rocket technology to the point where we can extend life and consciousness beyond Earth, to the moon, to Mars, eventually to other star systems. And I think we
Wouldn't
should
that
always
be
view
great?
consciousness, life as we know it, as precarious and delicate, because to the best of our knowledge, we don't know of life anywhere else. You know, I'm often asked, are there aliens among us? And I'll say that I am one, but
Or you're from the future.
they don't believe me.
Okay.
You see, none of these lands because these people are out of touch. How do you see yourself? This is how you present yourself, and you want people to perceive you. This is ah.
I'm in danger.
So, but I think if anyone would know if there are aliens among us, it would be me. And we have 9,000 satellites up there.
But why though? There were satellites before that too. Why would you know? Don't you want people just to believe that you would?
And not once have we had to maneuver around an alien spaceship. So I'm like, I don't know. Bottom line is, I think we need to assume that life and consciousness is extremely rare, and it might only be us. And if that's the case, then we need to do everything possible to ensure that the light of consciousness is not extinguished, because we're effectively, the way I view it is, the image in my mind.
We're not even sure if that's a thing. That is such bold claims to try to undertake things that would impact like civilization on things that we can't even define, that is untangible. Like, how crazy is that, honestly?
Is of a tiny candle in a vast darkness, a tiny candle of consciousness that could easily go out. And that's why it's important to make life multiplanetary, such that if there is a natural disaster or a man-made disaster on Earth,
Wouldn't that be just part of the cycle anyways? Wouldn't that be part of the cycle of life? Like, there's so many extinct species, animal species right now on Earth since like the 1800 or whenever they started recording or keeping track of most species, right? So what's so bad about it, honestly?
consciousness continues. That's the purpose of SpaceX. Tesla is obviously about sustainable technology, and also at this point we've sort of added to our mission sustainable abundance. So with robotics and AI, this is really the path to abundance for all. If you say, people often talk about.
How likely is that, honestly? Honestly. Because they come on stage and what the kind of discussions that they have these philosophical discussions, and they use terminology or the analogy, or they're trying to relate to things that are happening right now, but they're mixing up things that are hypothetical or that are are unrealized. Oh, how 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 big is the percentage of chances that we're going to live in any world of abundance if just right now, just for the sake of the AI run that everybody, the AI rush that everybody has, everybody are trying to make the most money out of it. Why would just that and the repercussions that are starting to impact regular people because of it? You got this happening for AI and quote unquote AI, and you think we're gonna live in a world where there's abundance after? That makes no sense. Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna pull like all your money together? No, you're trying to fund your little space projects. Does that make sense?
Solving global poverty, or essentially how do we give everyone a very high standard of living? I think the only way to do this is AI and robotics, which doesn't mean that it is without its issues. I mean, we need to be very careful with AI. We need to be very careful with robotics. We don't want to find ourselves in a James Cameron movie, Terminator.
So many bad jokes. Bro, You're not that guy. You're not him.
He's great,
You're
great,
not
great things on those movies,
Himothy.
but we don't want to be in Terminator, obviously. But if you have ubiquitous AI that is essentially free or close to it, and ubiquitous robotics, then you will have an explosion in the global economy, an expansion in the global economy that is truly beyond all precedent.
Elon,
Okay, so the principle of the economy right now is you get some money for the value that you bring in, right? If that is going to bring so much value to the companies that is going to remove you from the equation, how are you going to get anything to participate in the economy? If you receive money from the government, the UBI or anything like that, this is going to come from somewhere. It's going to come from these companies. These companies wouldn't have any incentive then to participate in the economy if they're going to be their service or products are going to be essentially taken away from them for free. And if you're talking about the government, if you're talking about UBI, you would need to remove all forms of governments because there wouldn't be all different uh, social programs. You would only have UBI and everybody would receive the same amount. So I don't think there's a lot of branches of the government that want to be shut down right now or just dissolved and removed. So these are just hypothetical scenarios.
can that expansion be broad?
Yes.
Or is it narrow? And how can that be created? How can it broaden the global economy?
Yeah, I mean, a way to think of it is that if you have a large number of humanoid robots, the economic
Hypothetical,
output is
right?
the average productivity per robot times the number of robots.
Right.
And actually, my prediction is in the benign scenario of the future that the robots will actually make so many robots in AI that they will actually saturate all human needs.
Okay, okay. And how do you make those robots? The materials, the highly specialized components that you need to make these robots. These are going to cost so much money. How are you going to produce so many of them that are going to cost so much that you're going to give out for free to developing countries? Right now, OpenAI is exploiting people in developing countries to train their AI models or other purposes. And you think that these same companies that are at this very moment exploiting other countries to get a higher valuation because they want to have their $1 trillion IPO. You're telling me that this same type of company are going to have people's good health or people's well being at heart? How likely is that? The chances are zero. If you want to, I can pull the same type of fucking mathematical equation that just means nothing out of my ass, and it's gonna equate zero. These companies, they're not your friends. They're not gonna help you. They're not helping you now. They're not gonna help you then.
Meaning you won't be able to even think of something to ask the robot for at a certain point. There will be such an abundance of goods and services Because my prediction is that there'll be more robots than people. So
But how do you then
How?
have human purpose in that?
This has nothing to do. This is such a stupid question. People have multiple ways of getting fulfillment and feel good about themselves. The idea that work is the only source of enjoyment or fulfillment is ridiculous. So you could have the same type of double economy. You could have, for instance, things that are not essential be done by humans, but how could it make sense that there would be more robots? You're at the World Economic Forum, your economics make no sense right here.
Scenario.
yeah, I mean, nothing's perfect, but I mean, it is a necessary. Like you can't have both. You can't have work that has to be done and amazing abundance for all. Because if it's work that has to be done, then you and only some people can do it, then you can't have abundance
Then
for
it's
all.
narrow.
Yes, narrow, exactly. So, but if you have billions of humanoid robots, and I think there will be, then I think everyone on Earth is going to have one and going to want one, because who wouldn't want a robot to?
What do you mean? Would we want a robot? Or they're going to be so much that they're going to be everywhere and they're going to be abundant as well. Can you see the type of rupture in reality there is? There's these hypothetical scenarios, and there's absolutely no ways to get there. And this brings me, oh no, I can't do it now. Oh man, hold on. I need to add another source. I messed up so much with it. Oh, I'm so sorry. So this is the type of shit that you get, they present these scenarios, they present these hypotheticals, and you have no step one, you have no step two, and even now the step three, the way he's talking about it, it is so fuzzy, it makes no sense. 1 second is going to be so abundant, there's going to be robots everywhere that are going to do all the services, that are going to do all the products, and now you're saying that the robots are going to be so good that you're going to want one in your home. No. Are they going to be everywhere, or we're going to have to get them, In the end, it doesn't matter because there's not enough resources in the world to create 8 billion robots. Are you insane? You're fucking insane.
Assuming it's very safe, watch over your kids, take care of your pet. If you have elderly parents, a lot of friends of mine have said they have elderly parents. It's very difficult to take care of them.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive, and there just aren't enough people to take care of the.
Okay, so here, is it your robot that you're gonna not rent, but that you're gonna let your parents borrow, or are they gonna have one, or are they gonna have one each? Like, why are you talking so much nonsense? Is this gonna happen in 2026 or like what's the point here?
Not enough young people to take care of the old people.
Right.
So if you had a robot that could take care of and protect an elderly parent, I think that would be great. That would be an amazing thing to have. I think we will have those things. So, I mean, overall, I'm very optimistic about the future. I think we're headed for a future of amazing abundance, which is very cool.
It's a nice
And
idea, but
definitely, we are in the most interesting time in history.
I don't think so.
The
Interesting in the ways that
biggest,
you're
more interesting
scamming
time in
us.
history.
Can you and I reverse aging in this new history, or are we going to see it?
You know, I haven't put much time into the aging stuff. I do think it is a very solvable problem. Like you can, I think when we figure out what causes aging, I think we'll find it's incredibly obvious. It's not a subtle thing. The reason I say it's not a subtle thing is because all the cells in your body, you know, with some pretty much age at the same rate.
Good.
I've never seen someone with an old left arm and a young right arm ever in my life. So why is that? That means that there must be a clock, a synchronizing clock,
Right.
that is synchronizing across 35 trillion cells in your body. You know, there is
What's the
some
point? You're spending
benefit to death, by
2,
the way.
3,
It's
4
like,
minutes of
there's a reason why we don't actually
time
have a longer
I'm never
lifespan.
gonna get back
Because
on fucking aging.
if people do live forever for a very long time, I think there's some risk of an ossification of society, of things just getting kind of locked in place, and you know, it just may become
2 hours later.
stultifying, just not lack
Jeez.
vibrancy. But that said, do I think we'll figure out ways to extend life and maybe even reverse aging? I think that's highly likely.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's 100% gonna see that.
So in the future that you talk about, the AI models, autonomous machines, rockets, depends on massive increases in compute, massive increases in energy, expensive energy, manufacturing scale. What are the bottlenecks to get there? And then, once again, with all that expenditures, again, how can we make sure that it's broad and not narrow?
You hear that? Your expenditures. So the investment, he's saying that that we should invest more. That people need to invest more. That makes no sense. Everybody's scared because they see how bad it is getting. Everybody is saying that you know, it might not be as hot as they present it. I don't know if this was a real statistic, but I saw it this week. Apparently, for Sora, the user base dropped about 90%. 90%, that's a lot. This is just a video production tool. It has no purpose. It makes no sense. It is 100% useless. And that's why there's nobody using it. So if you don't have people using your free shit, you don't have people paying the $20 subscription, you don't have enough of them, you don't have enough people paying the over $100 subscription because they all have one. They all have it. Nobody's using it. Nobody wants to pay for that shit. And so apparently, from what I'm seeing so far, the World Economic Forum in 2026 it's a big ass PR stunt just to try to reassure investors, and you should have some faith, and everybody should invest more. They need to get those next gen models done. If they don't get it done, if they can't get it done with the specs that they're all aiming for, 10 gigawatts data centers consumption, uh, uh, hundreds and hundreds of billions in expenditures, if they can't go to the end here, which does not even matter, it does not matter. It doesn't matter how big they make it. Doesn't matter how big they make it. They've seen through these multiple iterations that more compute makes a better model. It's not intelligent, but where they're at right now with the latest versions, I mean, it's getting there. It's getting good enough that maybe the next generation is going to be able to remove entry level jobs, is going to be able to augment production of capable people. But the big deal here, the big issue is that the way that it's looking now, everybody being so unimpressed, everybody being underwhelmed with all these promises that they made. People are scared. People don't want to put in their money, their pension fund, their expenditures. People want it to be narrow. They don't want to spend on this shit anymore. Nobody's convinced. This is why Mr. Fink keeps repeating over and over the same stupid ass shit. You need to keep the investments going. You gotta keep it going. It's gross. It is so gross. Talking about fucking pension funds for real, that is a nasty ass macaroni. That that guy, he's a bad person. He's not a good guy. Larry Fink is not gonna come down in history as a good person. Let me tell you. Well,
Hello, peasants.
let's get back to it. Sorry about that little rant.
I just think the natural thing is it's going to be very broad because AI companies will seek as many customers as they possibly can, and the cost of AI is already very low and it's plummeting every year. I mean,
How's that? How can that be if you have fucking Nvidia that saw that the profit margins are higher with AI? They can make everything cost more with AI. And what you're saying right now is in direct contradiction with what we're seeing right now in the market. You got consumer grade GPUs that go from a couple hundreds to a couple $1,000. And you got the AI ones that are couple tens of thousands of dollars. I would say, how can you lie with a straight face? But man, this ketamine busted, burnt neurons, brain dead dumbass probably believes everything he thinks, which is the sad part.
almost the cost of AI is almost meaningfully changing on a month-to-month basis.
There's open models now everywhere, yeah.
Yes, there's open models.
Yes, yes, yes. Open models that are free. Free to run on your fucking eight $30,000 each GPU setup. Like, what the fuck kind of stupid brain that this guy, first of all, he has absolutely no understanding of any of it. To him, it must be the equivalent of fucking magic and fucking artificial intelligence. Because, I mean, if you can talk to it and it answers back, it must be intelligent, right? Oh my god, this is gross.
And the open models only lag, they're maybe a year behind
Right.
the sort of closed models.
Okay, so this is very interesting. This is very interesting right here because this is specifically the reason why the investors are pulling out. Because why would you spend $100 billion to build a data center if next year they're going to have the equivalent for 50 billion? What if in 2 years the 100 billion data center you would get the equivalent for 20 billion? The depreciation is so high because of the open models, mainly from China, because they're so good, or you know, when you look at a product, you know, if it's good overall, there's a bunch of different characteristics, right? So if you need the most expensive setup to have 100% of the capabilities, and let's say it's $100, but let's say that you have another product that you can have 80% for $20. That is a much better product because it's going to be so much less expensive. So that makes it better. From my understanding, from reading all these news and everything, I felt like it was 2 years behind. This is what they were presenting at first. That you had these, what they now call like frontier models. So these are the most expensive. I was talking about Google, OpenAI, Grok, Claude. These the frontier, and DeepSeek was 2 years behind. But if now Musk is presenting it as just feeling like 1 year behind, you can understand immediately how everybody is absolutely terrified to invest any money in that shit. Why would they if next year, for a fraction of the cost, you're gonna have the equivalent? Are you going to spend $100 billion every single year just to make sure that you stay ahead? No, obviously not. Obviously not. That's why they're counting on next generation. They need all the money to make it as big as they're all planning to. And they're going to try to replace as many jobs as they can. So where do you see abundance there? Where do you see like altruism, well-being, taking care of like the rest of the citizens, humanity, those big ass topics or those big ass themes that you present? They are not founded anywhere close to reality. It's a shame. It really is a shame. You would think that if you would have this much money, you would really want to do things that would benefit people. But here we are.
So, I think the AI companies will seek as many customers as possible, which means they'll provide AI to the world.
But the cost of getting to there, the compute, the chips, the fab, the powering, that to me, what are the, those are huge.
The limiting factor, yeah, I think the limiting factor for AI deployment is fundamentally electrical power.
It's just, right, it's energy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're seeing
I mean, they're doing some pretty fucking wild shit. They want to start nuclear facilities to power these. The electrical grid is not meant for this type of demand. It will not be able to scale as fast and as big as they want, as quickly as they want. So, this shit about bottlenecks, I mean, they're trying their best, right? So you also have a lot of lobbying. You have, um, smaller forms of governments that are swayed. They're trying to get subsidies, government subsidies. So there's a lot going on, and they're really trying their best to make it happen at the cost of everything else.
the rate of AI chip production increase exponentially, but the rate of electricity being brought online is
3%, 4% a year,
Yeah.
max.
Yeah. It's clear that we're very soon, maybe even later this year, we'll be producing more chips than we can turn on. But except for China. China's growth in electricity is tremendous.
They're building 100 gigawatts of nuclear as we speak.
Actually, solar is the
solar,
biggest thing in China. So I believe China's production capacity on solar is 1,500 gigawatts a year, and they're deploying over 1,000 gigawatts a year of solar. Now, for continuous solar load, you divide that by roughly, I don't know, 4 or 5. Call it that's around 250 gigawatts of steady state power paired with batteries. And that's a very big number. That's half of the average power usage in the U.S.
Right.
So U.S. power usage on average is 500 gigawatts. China, just in solar, in solar that can provide steady state power and batteries, can do half of the U.S. electricity output per year just with solar. Solar is by far the biggest source of energy. And actually, when you look beyond, or even on Earth, but certainly beyond Earth, the sun rounds up to 100% of all energy. This is an important thing to consider. So the sun is.
So we went from just talking about metrics to this fucking abstract philosophical, everything's coming out of the sun. Hey, okay, bro.
99.8% of the mass of the solar system. Jupiter is about 0.1%, and everything else is miscellaneous. Now, even if you were to burn Jupiter in a thermonuclear reactor, the amount of energy produced by the sun would still round up to 100%, because Jupiter is only 0.1%. If you teleported 3 more Jupiters into our solar system, and burnt 3 more Jupiters.
Like, honestly, what the fuck is this tangent? This guy's been talking like that for years. And now people are getting fed up with it.
And everything else in the solar system, the sun's energy would still round up to 100%. So it's really all about the sun. And that's why.
What a fucking weird way to present it. Did you say you got a burner for solar panels? What was that, honestly?
One of the things we'll be doing with SpaceX within a few years is launching solar-powered AI satellites.
Right.
because the space is really the source of immense power, and then you don't need to take up any room on Earth. There's so much room in space, and you can scale to enormous. I mean, you can scale to. I think ultimately hundreds of.
Oh yeah, did you know that you could scale to even thousands, billions, because there's so much room in space to build any infrastructure. What kind of fucking ketamine fever dream has this idea come out of? Is that going to help with inflation at all? What is this going to do to benefit people right now? What is this besides a fucking circle jerk of ego tripping megalomaniacs?
Terawatts a year.
You and I have had these conversations before, but why don't you tell the audience what would it take for the United States and what type of geography would it take to have that solar field to electrify the United States? And
Okay, so he should describe here which country they're going to take over from next.
then let me ask a question, why aren't we doing it?
Yeah. So.
Honestly, solar panels, this technology is so wasteful.
I mean, I guess a rough way to think about it is 100 miles by 100 miles, or call it, I don't know, 160 kilometers by 160 kilometers of solar is enough to power the entire United States. So, yeah, 100.
That doesn't mean anything. What do you mean? Power it for like a few seconds, for an hour, for days? Like, what does it mean? This is one of the issues, you know, it's inefficient, super inefficient. It is sensible to the weather. If it's too cloudy, you're not gonna have your 100% efficiency of the solar panel, which is about, I don't know, 20% efficiency of taking the actual light energy. This makes no sense. This is why people get so confused. You get these pieces of shit mixing up ideas and concepts, and they talk out of their asshole right here, and they say just a whole bunch of shit. And now you get confused. People vote on random ass fucked up shit, and here we are.
That's nasty.
Mile by 100-mile area is, I mean, you could take basically a small corner of Utah,
Nevada,
New Mexico. Obviously, you wouldn't want it all in one place, but it is a very small percentage of the area of the U.S. to generate all of the electricity that the U.S. uses. And the same is true, actually. I mean, for Europe, you could take a small part. You could take relatively unpopulated areas of, say, Spain and Sicily, and generate all of the electricity power that Europe needs.
So why don't you think that there's a movement
Forever. You just put the panels there once, and it's just gonna power the electricity forever. Like, do you understand when you do math for the first time in high school, your math teacher, whenever he says that you need to put the metric after the numbers, is 100 miles per hours, because this is important. Otherwise, it's meaningless. What he's saying is meaningless.
towards that here and in the United States,
Well, there is.
as it is in China?
Well, unfortunately, in the U.S., the tariff barriers for solar are extremely high, and that makes the economics of deploying solar so artificially high, because China makes almost all the solar,
What would it take for Europe or the U.S. to build it commercially, if it's that scale?
Yeah, I think, well, I can tell you what we're going to do, at SpaceX and Tesla is we're building up large-scale solar.
Right.
So the SpaceX and Tesla teams both separately are working to build to 100 gigawatts a year of solar power in the U.S., of manufactured solar power. And that'll probably take us, I don't know, about 3 years or something.
But 100 gigawatts of power, that's gonna do 10 data center. This is not enough. This is not enough for what they're saying. So and how are you gonna get all the resources to build? Bro, it's just a hodgepodge of shit.
But these are pretty big numbers. And I'd encourage others to do the same. We obviously don't control the U.S. Tariff policy, but for other countries,
You say that, but at the beginning of last year, I think you were trying to do that really hard. I mean, this guy was involved with the president pretty closely, right? So you could at least say that you tried to influence it.
I would recommend that China makes solar cells that are incredibly low cost, and I think it would be worth doing large-scale solar.
So I know you're going to be having a couple of big announcements on robotics and what it can do. I mean, when I went to the factory, you showed me those robots.
Yeah.
How quickly, you talked about the billions of robots, but how quickly can they be deployed in a manufacturing setting? How quickly can they be utilized and be functional and create that abundance that you talked about?
Okay, so the manufacturing setting is not going to create the abundance, it's going to remove jobs from people, it's going to lower costs for those companies that are going to decide to buy these robotics. How is that going to bring abundance? You're talking about removing jobs. Okay, so there's no matter what is going to happen, let's say we get to abundance. You're going to have a transition period because not everybody is going to have these robots inside of their production warehouses, manufacturing warehouse, shipping warehouses, whatever the fuck. Not everybody's going to have them. So where is going to be the abundance for the people that are going to be uh, displaced because of these things? Doesn't make a lot of sense here. It's not going to look good in the future.
Well, humanoid robotics will advance very quickly. I think we do have some of the Tesla Optimus robots doing simple tasks in the factory. We accept it probably later this year.
Well, I mean, we've seen robots do some impressive enough stuff. But I'm pretty curious what simple task means in this context for him.
By the end of this year, I think they'll be doing more complex tasks.
Yeah, I mean, if we have no reference frame here, what you're saying still doesn't mean any shit whatsoever.
But still deployed in an industrial environment. and
Also, last year, AI was supposed to replace half of the workforce or the full workforce or everything, and it has not happened. So
probably sometime next year, I'd say that by the end of next year, I think would be selling humanoid robots to the public. That's when we are confident that it's very high reliability, very high safety, and the range of functionality is also very high. You can basically ask it to do anything you'd like.
You're already seeing that in Tesla cars. the software changes.
So it went from it's gonna do it is doing now simple tasks. In the future is gonna do more complex tasks. And very, very soon after that, it's gonna be able to do whatever you ask out of it. How does that make sense? Where is your your prediction is out of whack.
You're doing, and what is it, every quarter now, a software change that upgrades the ability of the robot within the car?
Yes, the Tesla full self-driving software,
Wow,
we update it
updates.
sometimes once a week. And recently, some of the insurance companies have said that it is actually so safe, when Tesla full self-driving is so safe that they're offering customers half-price insurance if they use Tesla full self.
Oh yeah, who? Because my understanding, since this is not self-driving, you can't actually say that you rely on it to drive, right?
Driving in the car.
And that can be monitored by the insurance company? Can they, is that part of the agreement then?
Yeah.
Is it?
But
That sounds like, when your buddy's doing a presentation on a subject that, you're asking questions here because you're trying to guide him into what to say. Is that even real? I mean, you're not mentioning anybody. This is so weird. This is so bad.
I think self-driving cars is essentially a solved problem at this point.
Right.
And Tesla's rolled out a sort of robotaxi service in a few cities, and
Right.
will be very, very widespread by the end of this year within the U.S. And then we hope to get supervised full self-driving approval in Europe, hopefully next month.
Really that quickly?
Yeah.
Supervised. That means you have to keep your hands on the steering, right?
And then maybe a similar timing for China, hopefully.
I want to move to space because historically space is very capital intensive. It historically been done by governments. Obviously, SpaceX changed the whole model. But we've seen it slow to scale, and now I'm starting to see it ramping up in what you're doing and other things. Talk to us about the automation and AI, how it's changing the economics in building and preparing for us in operating in space.
Sure. Well, the key breakthrough the major breakthrough that SpaceX is hoping to achieve this year is full reusability. So no one has ever achieved full reusability of a rocket, which is very important for the cost of access to space. We've achieved partial reusability with Falcon 9 by landing the boost stage. We've now landed the boost stage over 500 times. But we have to throw away the upper stage. The upper stage sort of burns up on reentry for Falcon 9. So, and the cost of that is equivalent to a small to medium-sized jet. So, but with Starship, which is a giant rocket, it's the largest flying machine ever made.
That's a rocket that you're using for the idea of going to Mars, right?
Yeah, Mars and the Moon, as well as for high-volume satellite stuff.
Did you say ever made?
We've partial reusability with Falcon 9 by landing the boost stage. We've now landed the boost stage over 500 times. But we have to
I went too far.
throw away the upper stage. The upper stage sort of burns up on reentry for Falcon 9. So, and the cost of that is equivalent to a small to medium-sized jet. So, but with Starship, which is a giant rocket, it's the largest flying machine ever made.
That's a rocket that you're using for the idea of going to Mars, right?
Yeah, Mars and the Moon, as well as for high-volume satellite stuff. So,
Mars and the Moon and satellites. Why would you need the largest rocket ship ever made to go to the moon? Is that what they needed in the 60s when they went to the moon for the first time? Why is he saying that? That's weird.
Starship, hopefully this year we should prove full reusability for Starship, which will be a profound invention.
So still no mention of how AI and whatever the fuck is gonna help him achieve that. Not answering the question.
Because the cost of access to space will drop by a factor of 100 when you're
Okay, drop by a factor of 100. Slow down, mister. We're gonna cut 2 trillion out of the government budget. Bro, slow down, slow down. Take it with a grain of salt. This guy has a tendency to exaggerate every single fucking thing he says.
achieve full reusability.
Right.
It's the same sort of economic difference that you would expect that, between, say, a reusable aircraft and a non-reusable aircraft. Like if you have to throw your aircraft away after every flight, that would be a very expensive flight. But if you only have to refuel, then it's the cost of the fuel. And so that's really the fundamental breakthrough that gets the cost of access to space, we think, below the cost of freight on aircraft. So, you know, under $100 a pound type of thing easily. Wow. So it makes putting large satellites into space very low, very cheap. And then when you have solar in space, you get 5 times more effectiveness, maybe even more than that, than solar on the ground, because it's always sunny.
Jesus Christ, my boy. Let's just have a quick look. All right, so as of 2025, solar panels usually have a efficiency rate of about 18% to 24%. So, you know, it is not nowhere near as efficient as he says that it would be, or it make it seems or sound as it is. Uh, what are you gonna get? Like, it's just I don't know. I don't know.
Old. And
Yeah, it's always sunny, so you don't have a day-night cycle or seasonality
Right.
or weather, and you get about 30% more power in space because you don't have atmospheric attenuation of the power.
Right.
The net effect is solar is 5 times more. Any given solar panel will do 5 times more energy in space than on the ground.
is there any capacity in doing that and then taking that power and bringing it back to Earth? Is there any way of doing that, or you're just taking that power and utilizing it for the needs, like building AI data centers in space?
I think the case, it's a no-brainer for building solar-powered AI data centers in space, because as you mentioned, it's also very cold in space. If you're in the shadow.
Yeah, but he's not talking about any of the satellites, solar panels. So another big ass mix up that just makes it out to be meaningless.
Then it's very cold in space, just 3 degrees Kelvin. So you have solar panels facing the sun, and then a radiator that's pointed away from the sun, so it has no sun incidence, and then it's just cooling. It's a very efficient cooling system. So net effect is that the lowest cost place to put AI will be space, and that'll be true within 2 years, maybe 3.
Yeah, boy. Wow. So next gen is gonna be here, and the gen after that is gonna be in space because there is gonna be too much. It's just gonna cost too much if they try to do it back here. Trillions of dollars, I would imagine, because it's gonna have to be another order of magnitude bigger and you know more costly than the upcoming one. That's gross. That's pretty gross.
Three at the latest.
Three at the latest. Shut the fuck up.
Looking 10 or 20 years out, how would you describe success with AI or space technology, and where do you see it?
Neo-feudalism, where you have to pay subscriptions to everybody just to live, and they're gonna be well fed and well happy with that.
Is that, are you more certain of what's going to happen in the next 3 years or 5 or 10?
I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years, but the rate at which AI is progressing, I think we might have
Which is zero, by the
AI
way.
that is smarter than any human by the end of this year.
That's
and
not
I would say
true.
no later than next year.
That is absolutely untrue. It is mathematically impossible. We already saw that you need to babysit the model. The model only answers back to you in the same tone, in the same type of language as you prompted it. So if a dumbass writes a prompt, you're gonna get a dumbass answer. That's why dumbass people have a hard time using these models. They don't get the same type of results. So how can you just blatantly say it like that, that there's gonna be more intelligent than people? This is still a whole bunch of shit.
And then probably by 2030 or 2031, call it 5 years from now, AI will be smarter than all of humanity collectively.
We only have
Like, what do you mean, all of humanity collectively? If I take a stupid person and I ask them a question and their answer is stupid, and I put him with 9 other people and they're all just as stupid, you're not gonna get a better answer because you get all humanity together. This is a stupid way. It's a stupid way to talk. This is all for sure, and it's a lie. It is 100% a lie.
a number of minutes left, but I want to humanize you for a second. So there's no speculation that
Make a
you're
joke about peace.
Right, right. I want to.
That landed. That was great.
I mean, I would frame this question by you are the most successful entrepreneur, industrialist in the 21st
A
century.
lot of glazing
maybe
again.
beyond. I want to really get this. What inspired you? Who's inspired you? What was the foundation of your curiosity? And importantly, was there an aha moment, an epiphany at any time in your life and career?
Well, I mean, as a kid, I read a lot of science fiction, sci-fi, fantasy books.
Yeah, we talked about
and comic books, and I always liked technology. I didn't expect to be where I am today. That seems incredibly implausible. But yeah, I was inspired by reading about books about the future, about science fiction, and And I guess I want to make science fiction, not fiction forever, at some point turn science fiction to science fact. You know, we want to have like Starfleet and Star Trek really, for real, like where we actually have giant spaceships traveling through space, going to other planets, traveling to other star systems,
I'm
going
just
places
interested
where
if
we've
I
never
could be
gone.
beamed up to go back to New York. I'd like to just be beamed back to New York instead of flying.
That is so
Yeah.
good. That's
Talking about Star Trek.
No, I guess my essential philosophy of curiosity. I'd like to understand the meaning of life. You know, is the standard model of physics correct regarding the beginning of life, beginning of existence, and the end of the universe? What questions do we not know to ask that we should ask? And AI will help us with these things. So I'm just trying to understand how do we get here? What's going
still, this is a philosophical AI, nothing based in reality, and nothing based in anything tangible for right now.
on? What's real? Are there aliens? Maybe there are. And if we've got spaceships that are traveling to other star systems, we may encounter aliens, or we may find many long dead alien civilizations. But I just want to know what's going on. I'm curious about the universe, and that's my philosophy.
Do you see yourself ever going to Mars in your lifetime?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like
That's a long
That's a long lie, man. That's a long pause to lie. I mean, he didn't say, do you hope you could? He said, will it happen? It won't.
I've been asked, but
Isn't that 3 years each way?
it's 6 months.
6 months, that's all it is?
Yeah, 6 months, but the planets only align every 2 years.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've been asked a few times, like, do I want to, die on Mars? And I'm like, yes, but just not on impact.
Oh, in 34 minutes in, this is the first time he says something that people laugh. And it's about him dying, so that's harsh.
That's a good answer. Anyway, we're out of time. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this. I mean, there's so many myths around Elon Musk. I could tell you he's a great friend, and I constantly learn so much from him. And I'm totally inspired by what he has done. I've been inspired who he is, and I'm totally inspired by his vision of the future.
Are you
And I
sure?
don't think it's such a bad future, and I agree with his optimism. So, Elon, thank you. Any last words?
We don't want to hear it. No, we do not want to hear that. That was not. That's a lot. I don't want to watch all of these. These nuts.